Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. My name is Mike.
And this is Matthew.
We are dropping a very special, I hate to use the word special, a very
Important.
important extra episode today as we discuss the passing of one Richard Moll, who passed away on October 26th, just a few days ago. We're talking about Richard Moll for a couple of different reasons. The main reason of which is just what a career, at the age of 80 when he passed away. But also because he was known not only as Bull the bailiff on Night Court, which is where a lot of people knew him the most from, but also as the legendary voice of Harvey Dent Two-Face on the DC animated television show Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures, alongside people like Kevin Conroy, Arlene Sorkin, the names Mark Hamill, the names go on and on. It's interesting that this happened because we were just talking about The Long Halloween.
Correct.
I remember we made a point of remarking on how good of a job Josh Duhamel did as Two-Face because his voice that he chose was so remarkably similar to Richard Moll's that I had to go check and see if it was in fact Richard Moll doing the voice, and it wasn't. But that's again a testament to just how iconic his voice performance as Two-Face was, because similar to Kevin Conroy with Batman, this was my first exposure to Two-Face was in this show, like with a lot of things. And so I have always and will always judge performances of Two-Face against Richard Moll's because it was I mean, there's a reason that his origin is a two-parter.
Oh yeah,
It's so captivating.
yeah, and he does. It's. I want to say this is the first time. I mean, I don't think he's been in a lot of cartoons or media before this particular show.
Before the show, no. In the time since he did, I mean, this guy's resume is
Well, I
frankly
meant
stacked.
Two-Face.
But
Two-Face.
oh, it's Two-Face? No, he only ever did it for the show. He never did it for the games or any of the movies, as far as I know.
No, I mean this is the first time Two-Face is in a cartoon. Like I don't think he appears at any of the previous cartoons, if memory serves correctly.
You are 1,000% right. Two-Face was kind of a C-list Batman character. He was never in the Adam West thing, which is why when they did the animated one with Two-Face, they kind of made up their own, like, what would Two-Face be like in the 60s Batman.
And apparently voiced by William Shatner.
But you know what? Not bad.
Oh no, does a great job.
Not bad at all. Very of its time. Very on brand, but it's good. But Richard Moll's take on Two-Face was the first time anyone had seen it outside of a comic book. You're absolutely right. And it was something else.
Well, and it was interesting to me because, like being a big fan of the comic and some of the other storylines, like it had never occurred to me that he would have two different voices. Because, you don't get that in a comic book. You're just reading dialogue. So that's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I guess you could have the different voice for each personality.
It's a very Batman take because Kevin Conroy did that.
Correct.
He had three distinct voices. He had his Playboy Bruce Wayne voice, his regular Bruce Wayne voice, and then he had his Batman voice,
which we all love.
We all love all three of them. And Richard Moll was no different. Richard Moll's take on Harvey Dent was very charismatic, very charming, very, very friendly, you could see why he and Bruce Wayne were best buds. And then his take on Two-Face was the stuff of nightmares in all the best ways possible.
Correct. It's kind of funny because I remember when he was cast as Two-Face, and at the time I'd seen him in a few of the things, but really I knew him as Bull because I grew up watching Night Court, and it was like, Bull is Two-Face? Like, you're just like, are you sure that's the choice? And then to hear him be Harvey for a couple episodes and just be like this nice, charming guy, I was like, wow, look at that. And then when he turns a Two-Face, like, oh, that's why we get him as a voice actor. He is phenomenal as Two-Face himself.
And he spends a lot of time just establishing the character of Harvey. Like, a lot of people forget with this show, Two-Face wasn't just in it. Harvey Dent was in it for like a good string of episodes just as a background character.
Yes.
popping up here and there in a couple scenes. He was in the pilot, as kind of an introduction. But it's not until well into the first season that he actually becomes Two-Face. And it's a two-parter. And I think that episode got them some Emmy talk. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
I can never remember if it's this one or Rob. I know Robin's Reckoning.
well, Robin's Reckoning did, and Heart of Ice won them an Emmy. The two-parters with Two-Face, I'm not super duper sure. I'm looking it up right now as we talk, but it's funny you bring up it's funny that you bring up Night Court. I was late to the game on Night Court just because of how young I was when it was on. I mean, in 92 is when it ended the first time around, right?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Night Court ends in 92, and I'm 3 years old. So, I don't get to Night Court until I'm in, I think TV Land was showing someone was showing reruns of it when I was in high school. And that was my first exposure. And it just so happens the first episode I saw was also one of the ones that Brent Spiner was in. So yay. Brent Spiner on that show was so funny. But Bull was always hysterical. He was on there every episode of every season. I mean, he was there the whole original run.
Yeah.
So
him and Harry Anderson are the only two cast members who lasted front to back.
Yeah. And so it was weird when I was like, oh man, this guy's super funny. And then I don't know if it was my dad or something I just found out, but somebody was like, he's the voice of Two-Face, right? And this was I was in high school, so like Wikipedia wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Social media, MySpace, so it wasn't like it was easy for me to go out and research that. It was just kind of like, shut the front door. It took me like watching an episode and actually looking at the credits to be like, oh snap. That's how you find out Mark Hamill is the Joker is the first time you watch Mask of the Phantasm, and you're like, why do I know that name? Yeah. And then your mom is like, that's Luke Skywalker, and 5-year-old me is like, shut up. So Richard Moll's take on for Richard Moll, I think, did for Two-Face what Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy did for their respective. I mean, everyone did in this show. The voice acting on the show was so stellar and the voice performance is so iconic that they became the thing you judge all performances after, and Two-Face is no exception to that. Whether it's the black and white suit design, whether it's the inner duality that is lifted straight out of The Long Halloween. Like The Long Halloween really did provide quite the inspiration for just the take on Harvey Dent in Batman the Animated Series. I think that doesn't get, I mean, we certainly didn't mention it when we were talking about it with The Long Halloween, but it was one of those things in Richard Moll's passing that I thought about. I was like, they really did pull a lot from The Long Halloween for Two-Face on the animated series, and it's crazy that I never noticed that before.
Yeah, it's insane how much the Batman the Animated Series is such a love letter to the comics, and it continues with everything Bruce Timm does through the show. I was just sitting there cracking up because I don't know why I'm sitting here thinking about all the Richard Moll things I enjoyed, and I was like, oh, that is right. He is he was the main bad guy for the Highlander pilot.
Yes, he was. He 100% was. He was also Scorpion in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. He took over for Martin Landau.
Okay.
Or was it the 90s one? I want to say it was the 90s one. Yeah, yes. It was the 90s one. He was Abomination in the Incredible Hulk animated series. Remember in the 90s when after Spider-Man and X-Men crushed, they tried to make an animated series out of every comic book character?
Yes.
And other than X-Men and Spider-Man, they were all terrible.
The Iron Man, Fantastic Four.
Oh, the Iron Man one was so bad. Ooh, it was bad. And the Incredible Hulk one was pretty bad. But also, he voiced, we haven't mentioned, he voiced Two-Face Harvey Dent in another thing as well. And that's Batman the Brave and the Bold in our favorite episode.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Richard Moll is in that episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Chill of the Night.
In Chill of the Night, he voices not only Two-Face, but he also voices Lou Moxon, the mob boss on his deathbed at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, nice.
Where he goes full, but he goes full 90s Two-Face with the mobster voice. He changes it up a little bit for when he's actually Two, because he's not in the actual episode a whole
Yeah,
bunch
there's
as
like three
Two-Face.
lines.
Yeah, but the lines he has as the mobster, he goes full 90s Two-Face, and it was so cool to hear. I was like, "Oh, I know that voice. I know that voice." It was too easy to not miss. So, yeah, this guy, and Richard Moll was so plugged into. I mean, he was on Justice League, he was on Smallville, he showed up in all kinds of other great animated stuff here and there. He was on Freakazoid at one point, which is the greatest cartoon ever made, probably. It's the greatest nerd cartoon ever made.
I, I think my favorite random job he did, which I think is one of his really early jobs. There's this great, horrible, great, I don't know, whichever your opinion is. It's called Sword and the Sorcerer.
Sword and the Sorcerer is so bad, but it's so worth the watch.
Yeah, and he's the wizard, like
Yeah,
the full on evil version of the wizard. Yeah,
yeah, he is.
I love that movie. It's so bad, but
Oh,
it's great.
that movie sucks hard, but it's fun to watch.
Dude, that's my favorite sword ever.
It reminds me of one of my favorite interviews with Michael Caine, as they were talking about Jaws: The Revenge, and somebody was like, "That movie's terrible." He's like, "Yeah, but I saw the house that it bought for my mother, so it was fine."
Yeah.
Look, man, Richard Moll was 80 years old, and as far as anyone can tell, I mean, I remember when you and I talked on the phone when the news first dropped. My immediate reaction was, "Oh no, he was so young. Let me read the article and see what." Oh, he was 80. Oh,
Yeah. That's a good life.
oh,
That's
what
a
a
good
good
run.
life. I mean, again, I'm scrolling aimlessly through his resume on IMDb. And I mean, he's got movie roles going back to 77. He's got TV roles going back to 78. He's worked in video games since the 90s. I mean, and it wasn't like this guy's been working since 77 and did like a movie every 5 years. I mean, this guy was crushing projects left and right, multiple a year, voiceover, TV, live action, animation, film. He was just, this is one of those guys who just loved acting, and he loved working, and he loved being busy. And that has never been more evident by the wealth of a career that he had, and how much he just seemed to give to every performance. Because to the fact that it's 2023 and we're talking about his performances on a courtroom sitcom and an animated Batman show, and us going, these performances shaped our lives,
Yeah.
is a testament to the talent and the career of Richard Moll.
Yes.
So I don't know what else we can say other than just, it sucks. We're obviously, bummed by the news because we love Richard Moll, but also 80 years old, and what a hell of a career. This is a man who, regardless of what you believe in the afterlife, is going to get greeted by whoever's there, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, no, you're good. Come on in. You put in the hours. It's cool. You get to enjoy the breakfast bar.
Yes.
The breakfast bar is only for fulfilled lives. Everybody else has to wait for the Hotel Continental breakfast. Not as good. Not as good. The breakfast bar gets fresh scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Continental breakfast gets powdered shit.
Yeah. Every other time the waffle maker will work.
Every other. Oh my god, dude, those Hotel Continental breakfasts are the worst. Look, we're all gonna miss Richard Moll. And it might seem disingenuous that we're sitting here joking about breakfast bars, but Richard Moll was dedicated to the laughter. He was dedicated to entertainment. He was dedicated to fun, and yeah, it's a bummer because we've had some great Two-Face performances since him, but man, he's truly the OG Two-Face, and that is something that can never be taken away from him, because in a lot of instances, the first isn't always the best. We think it is because it was the first.
Yeah.
Richard Moll was the best Two-Face.
Yeah. No one's come close.
Not even close.
They've tried.
They've tried very hard, and they've gotten very, like Aaron Eckhart. We're going to talk about him and more in our Dark Knight stuff. Very good. Tommy Lee Jones, it is what it is. Billy D. Williams, it is what it is. But man, Richard Moll, what can you say other than just thank you? Thank you for a great performance. Nothing else we can really say at this point other than just, like I said, our hearts are with his family and loved ones and friends, and we're going to miss him. But, hey guys, go watch the Two-Face origin two-parter on Max today. It's on Max in the animated series. Go watch it. Go enjoy it. If you have the ability, go watch some Night Court. I don't know how. It's not streaming anywhere, but go watch some Night Court and enjoy Richard Moll.
I'm about to buy the DVDs because I'm not waiting
Seriously.
for streaming.
Seriously, it's got to be somewhere. That's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much for this, for letting us do this. Like I said, go enjoy some Richard Moll's work today. Thank you, sir, and thank you to his friends and family. Thank you all of you for listening, and we'll see you guys again next time here on We Are the Batman.
Bye bye.